Not everybody wants the camera pointed at them, YouTube. Damn. Freaking retarded, man. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Let's get this show on the road. All right. First of all, here we are, January 14th, 2025. And while that's loading up, I'll take a moment to thank every single one of you here in the chat and even lurking in the background for taking a moment of your precious time to be a part of this precious family. Okay. Not often do I get chances to check in much anymore. So When I do, I try to. We're just going to be kind of a quick show. We got some good news to report tonight, so that's kind of good. So as you can see there, all the loops playing there, and I open up my soda here. Not a lot of activity going on right now around the sun. Okay, we'll even come over here to Solar Ham here. That was Australia getting hit with hail. I saw in the opening here. Just a quick check-in with our Solar Ham here. Hi, Kathleen, Leslie, everybody. Welcome. Solar Flux Index 166 and another 6 points up. Yipe. That's a weird combination there, huh? Sunspot number 106 and up 5 points. Areas in the green. Very quiet on your GOES X-ray. So quiet we're not going to zoom in. Geomagnetic forecast all good. Okay, X-flare potential pretty low. Aurora's slight little hint of yellow in there, but not much. Okay, so just kind of plowing right through this. Your KP kind of climbed a little bit here. Yep, just creeping up here, getting closer to 4. Okay, and then we're just kind of going right through this. Our only beta gamma is declining. The east limb of the sun appears to show the presence of a potential sunspot region about to turn into view. Some flux is beginning to emerge from the region off the southeast limb, which is the bottom left. Down here. All right. So, the bottom left, so at least one sunspot will soon be visible. Now, the region pictured behind the northeast limb, the top left, may be the return of old AR 3936 from December. This is the same region that produced the X 1.6 solar flare on December 30th. So hopefully an increase in solar activity is just around the corner. Hopefully not. Okay, we don't need any more solar activity right now. Just track-a-lacking in case we're lacking some tracking. Small little CME heading that way. Okay, not much to look at tonight. We're plowing through this because we got other stuff that's more important. Coronagraph imagery, that was old. Okay, even spaceweather.com here. Dr. Tony Phillips here. Solar activity is low. It's probably temporary, but the sun has become quiet this week with only a smattering of C-class solar flares. This is quite likely to continue, and all the sunspots currently facing Earth have stable magnetic fields unlikely to explode. So the sunset comet alert, there we go. Go check it out. It's close to the sun, so when the sun's rising or when the sun's setting is when you can see it best. Actually, after the sun rises, because it's a little closer. But you can come over and read more about that. I want to get over to our Schumann here really quick. Check that out. And all good for quite a while here. We've had some good continuity for a few minutes there, for a few days here, so that's good. A little bit of scraping going on down below, but not too much. And you can even see this activity that was happening at like the magma crust boundary here has kind of quieted down. All right, so got a little weak right in this area right there, but we're coming back with some decent continuity. There's a little gap right there. You see that one right? I don't want to put the arrow through it, but right next to the arrow right there, as you can see that little gap right there. So we had a little quiet, a little weakening of the field for a minute, but we're coming out of it. Now, to get on to the good part here, we're going right here to the LA Basin area and our heat plume that's been in this region, okay? This is our latest imagery. Note the curvature right here along the boundary of our eye-shaped thing right here. See the little boundary right here? And we'll do an earthquake report and stuff and get into this tonight. But the good news is that this pocket has receded. Now we have winds coming into the area, high winds and stuff. Let's hope we can deter some of the arsonists, okay? And otherwise, the heat from down below has diminished. In fact, it has all up the west coast. Remember how it was hugging the west coast right here? And if we look up here, it's kind of diminished all along this whole zone. Remember, this whole zone was all bright red. And we'll go stage by stage through that. But let's get back to the regular report here. Starting off here with our air winds and our currents. We're going to go to 850 and look at our storms. They're out here, okay? Just looking around, but big old, look at this ribbon right here. You can see where the hot water has caused the storm and divided the air currents right there. That's going to look interesting here soon. Okay, just kind of looking around a little bit. All right. Whoa. Looks like a big old eye right there. All right. Now let's come on over to our particulates and do our sandstorm report really quick. Now, a lot of the fog is going on around the world is because we got so many particulates in the air now. All right, not just dust and sand and these kind of particulates, but all kinds of different. Okay, and the wind picks it up, blows it clear up here to even up to the North Pole. Okay, so now we're seeing sand and dust that's been kicked up by sandstorms showing up at the North Pole. It's all over the place, and water droplets adhere to particulates to form raindrops. Okay, so we've just like quadrupled the amount of particulates in the air, which is the fuel. And we also have thermal radiation underneath the ocean floor that's evaporating water into the air, okay, making the air richer with moisture. So it's a double whammy. We're getting more moisture and more particulates, which results in heavier downfalls, bigger, larger hail, larger thunderstorms, just everything, okay? And in the wintertime, when you have cold air adhering and water droplets adhering to particulates, well, you get fog that's got matter in it, okay? And even when that matter or the water dries out, it leaves the matter or the dust back behind, leaving residue on people's cars and stuff, okay? And as you can see, this thing over here starting to flare up again. Right here, looking around, even Australia has its own independent sandstorm, okay? Also, another thing you need to think about is sand, which is basically silica, mostly silica, holds a charge, an electric charge. That's why they use silica in your chips, right? Your computer chips. So this sand can hold an electric charge and get a static charge, making it not lighter than air, but lighter than normal. Now, add your higher speed winds from your bigger storms blowing this all over the planet, and now you've got sand particulates going all the way around the world. Okay, and we can go through some of these different size microns really quick here. And let's go to 2.5. That's a good one. And there's sand particulates all around the Middle East here as well, India, China. These particulates, water adheres to these too and gets coats your lungs. You see how it's been pulled way up like this, up into the northern regions up there? Okay, then we also have this wonderful particulate called SO4, not SO2. It has 2 more oxygen atoms per molecule, and it's sulfate. It's SO4. It's sulfur quad oxide for layman's terms, okay? And the thing about this particulate, it's all over the place, right? You see it all over. Well, whether it comes from man-made or from the ground, this particulate actually bonds with the water. Instead of adhering to it, it bonds with the water. And when you mix H2O with SO4, you get a new chemical compound called H2SO4, which is known as sulfuric acid. Okay, so you're breathing in all kinds of particulates with sulfuric acid. It gets caught up in these storms. Okay, does it get caught up in these storms or not? Yes, you can see it. What are these storms made out of? Clouds. Clouds are water. This is mixing with all the water in the storms, and your storms are now sulfuric acid in nature, depositing, particulates and weird stuff on the ground after the water evaporates out of it. Okay. And you can see this is all over the earth. There's not a safe place. Even used to be Antarctica was the only safe place, but look, it's showing up down there too. Okay, now we're going to move on to our ocean thing here, or seaside or sea surface temperature anomalies. This is the sea surface or the temperature of the water. Okay, these water heat plumes are being caused by volcanic activity on the ocean floor. Okay, and you can see this whole region still very active all the way across. This whole region has kind of come to life now. So when this is kind of blossoming, it's relieving a lot of pressure. Pressure transfers that from over here to over here and lessens the influence or the pressure in this region. And now we get cold water inundation along the west coast. Okay. And these configurations, these heat, cold configurations control the air patterns because hot air forms over hot water, cold air over cold water. When hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it. And now these thermal anomalies are controlling our weather patterns. Really quick, before I put the winds on, I want to touch base with this region right in here, which continues to produce warm, moist air for the coastline. Anytime the wind picks up and changes direction, it draws warm, moist air up into the country that collides with cold air that's coming over the top from Canada, and we're getting our severe weather on this part of the country. Okay, all this new area. See, we got pockets of cold water and pockets where it's opened up. We have up here by Iceland. See all this red around Iceland. We've had earthquake activity around Iceland and volcano activity here. So that's relieving pressure in the region. But you can see it's reached clear up here. There's an opening way up here. Okay. Now I'm just kind of looking around. Really quick, we're going to go ahead and put the winds on. So you can see how hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it, and now it's changed our configuration out here. This wind that was going around this and coming through the backside of Nevada is still coming out through the Santa Anas right here, causing the Santa Ana winds to come offshore. All right, so that same configuration is there, but look, it's it's changed up. This cold water has changed up the shape of it. Okay, but a little bit of good news to report, even though winds are picking up in this region, is that this whole heat plume out here has diminished. So that'll kind of help firefighters a little bit when there's not a bunch of stuff under the ground. Like, well, let's see here. Our SO2, which is sulfur dioxide, not carbon dioxide. Our plume here, down here, has lessened in intensity. Okay, we'll put the fires on too. Let's see here, boom. And our yellow fire's kind of gone there. Okay, there's still little spot fires and stuff around it, but I want to look up here in Canada. You see, there's still a couple of them up here. Not too bad, though. So our fire activity has diminished. A bunch of pressure has been relieved down below. We had some good volcanic blasts. We've also had pressure transfers open up, and we have also had some pretty good magnitude earthquakes that have been happening, too. So it's changed up our SO2 emissions, thankfully, to a better state here. Whoops, I want to go back to the ocean one. Back to our temperature anomalies here. Okay, so that whole bright area that was running down the coastline is starting to diminish. We're getting cold water inundation around the Juan de Fuca a little bit, even at our fulcrum point here. Whoops, let me take that a little bit better. Our fulcrum point right here, you see the cold water below it and right next to it. So this was all hot water all through that area, and we were seeing quakes on both sides of the plate boundary there. And now look, we have cold water. So we've had a little change up in there. And when I see stuff like this, I think answered prayer, because I heard some prayers coming for reduce the pressure in this region, and look at that. Now, I want to get into our quake report here. It's kind of what we're doing here is our quake report. Still haven't gotten to it yet. Okay. And get all set up here for you guys. The satellite for your viewing pleasure. Oh, wait. I also want to do 78. All right. So over here yesterday, we had a big quake here in Japan. I wanted to report on last night, but I got so much going on. 6.8. Now on the tsunami map, it said 6.9, roughly 6.97. That's one of our biggest quakes in a few minutes here. And it's at this site right here where we had a bigger quake before. Note, this isn't on the plate boundary. There is a fulcrum point right there, though. You can see it like underwater. Well, little arc right there. Let's pull back just a tad bit. So there's a little weak spot right here that's grown off the coast of Japan ever since the bigger quake that we had there. Now today there was a quake there that was 5.5 at 30. Okay, so that's a full magnitude up than what we're used to seeing, mid-range 4. Now we got a mid-range 5 there. Okay, so that bigger quake, this 6.8, helped relieve a lot of pressure. It helps transfer pressure too if something else opens up on the ocean floor. Because of this, now we see, pressure change areas and stuff. So let me take off all that now and go back to 1 real magnitude USA. There we go. So we've had this quake activity since yesterday and continuing on there today, relieving energy in that area. 4.3 at 63 there. Okay, now I want to come back down here. We'll start off with our regular kind of quake report. No deep quakes in the Fiji area today. We had that mid-range 5 down below deep the other day, and we're still seeing residuals of 5.2 here. This is on these little ridge right off the plate boundary right there. Nothing around this region. We got this island that emits SO2, keeping the pressure, kind of relieving pressure in the region, keeping magnitudes and earthquakes down. But 5.1 down at 374, volcanic feature. 5.0 right there at 27, another volcanic feature. Yesterday there was a bunch of 5s all over this map. 4.3 there, a 4.3 here at the surface here in China. This is a new little spot. Yeah, look at all the fault structure lines going through this area. Yeah, so all kinds of faults and everything in there, and that's a 4.3 at the surface. They're close to the surface running through this area, so we'll have to watch that little region. That might be a new spot of path of least resistance. Yeah, yesterday there were all kinds of 5s all over the place. We still have Africa continuing to go off here with quakes right around our volcano here. Here's a 4.9 at the surface. You know what we do with 4.9s. There's a 4.3 at the surface too. So still activity, still pressure around this region. Pushing underneath there. Now here up in Iceland. This is the biggest quake they've had there in a few minutes, a 5.2 at the surface, and we got other volcanic vents and stuff starting to open up there too. So Iceland becoming a new point of least resistance. Along the mid-Atlantic ridge, a 5.7 here at the surface as well. Okay, so this whole thing is like a zipper, and there's magma comes up out of the weakest spot, and all of a sudden you get earthquake activity around that region too. 5.2 over here on this plate boundary at the central East Pacific rise. Okay. And as we go up past Japan, we got 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6, all right in a row right there. We have a bunch of volcanic activity on the Kamchatka that relieves pressure in that region. Coming through here, we got a few little quakes. Ooh, a 3.9 out here. That's a little uptick in magnitude for that region. You see how they just arc right on up the fulcrum point. Then we come over. Look at this up here. I showed you here coming over to this map. See this island? You see this little glowing orange spot right off the island right there? There's your island, and just above it, you got this 4.0 at 11. That's close to the surface right there. So that's even a little further up than, oh, that's right in that little glowy spot. Okay, so pressure in this region is still around, kicking off quakes. These quakes will relieve some of that. So I bet you some of that coloration will go down tomorrow because that map is a day behind still. Kind of hard to correlate them both perfectly, but when they're a day apart, but you can see there was red and pressure in that region, kicked off a quake right there, 4 at the surface. Then as we come into our Wanda Fuca, nothing around, that part, but here at our fulcrum point where we've seen our cold water inundation come in, we got 2-4, another 2-4, a 2-7, okay, so relieving energy right here at the fulcrum point, keeping your pressure and your temperatures down. Here's your new little on-land quake, a 3.0 here at Klamath, California. See this river valley that goes through here, carves pretty deep into the land. It can be almost like a little fault structure in its own, especially with water creeping down deeper into the crustal part through there, weakening, stuff underground in that region. 3.0, that's a little deeper, down at 28, huh? Uh-oh. Oh, real? My talking cat. All right, we'll have to keep an eye on that spot. I don't see any kind of volcanic features. There is this very deep river valley carved through there, so we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. That might help relieve some of the pressure and the temperatures in that region and stuff as well. So some of these quakes are good. We need activity to relieve pressure at the surface. Meanwhile, there's your geysers quaking out, having a good little session there. Some activity coming into the North Bay, but it's 2.2 here at Napa. Now, out here where we were seeing that heat and the pressure on the coastline, now it's diminished. We're starting to see a little bit of quake activity, but it's really small. 1.4s still out here off the zoo here at 2.2. And when I pull back, you can see that they're on the Pacific plate, not on the land here. One out here. You can see them all kind of running on this side of the Pacific plate. A couple on the other side right here. Coming down through here. Now, here's your eye-shaped type structure right here. Okay, got a couple of little quakes, 2.6 above it, and then inside at the biggest magnitude is a 2.8. But what I'm talking about is this little eyeball type structure right here coming off. Part of it's on the plate boundary, coming off with these mountains out into the water, even out to this area, and then coming back down in. So when we come over here, you can literally see the edge of that teardrop structure right there. It comes out, bing, and then goes around right here. See it? Okay, so right there is your structure. Not like a building or that type structure, but I'm saying a geological feature type structure. And then there, your heat pattern has carved it out, and that whole area of heat that was there over the past few days has now diminished. Okay, let's answer prayer right there. All right, let me just kind of show you something here. We're going to go back. Well, we're going to go back to the beginning of the month here. Let's just pick calendar right to the first, okay? All right, first of the year. Here we are, this heat plume that's in this eye structure area right there, okay? Note your day here. Wait, let me go back one more day. All right, here we are on the dates. January 1st, 2025. You can see there was there was minimal in that region on the 1st. There's the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, 8th. Come on, 8th. There goes the 8th right there, diminished. 9th. Oh, it increased. Come on. 10th. There it goes. Whoops. Trying to jump on me here. There's the 10th. So 9th, 10th, 11th, 12, 13. Okay, we don't have the 14th because this map takes so long. But you see that big diminishing in that region right there? That's good news. Okay, trust me, that's good news. There's not going to be SO2 emissions so strong and so hot all over the place that it could possibly spark a fire in that region. Okay, and you saw the fires flare up when that heat increased in that area when I did that whole thing. In fact, we're going to do it one more time. No, it still takes me to the 2nd. All right, that's good. So one more time with this little pocket area, the eye structure going forward. There's the 2nd, the 3rd. We got fires on, right? Fires are on. Okay, good. No. Okay, so we're at the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. You see the fires? 8th, 9th, 10th, 11, 12, 13. So it looks like we've had a big diminishing of heat and pressure in that region, and that correlates to your SO2 plume there that was coming out really strong as well. So thankfully we don't have a lot of heat and a lot of pressure and a lot of SO2 coming out of this region that could possibly spark any more fires. Okay, so when you look at it with the right perspective, that's a little bit of good news. And all this area that was in red off the coast here has all diminished too. Maybe you saw part of that during that little parade there too. So, beginning of the year right there, look at the West Coast. There's the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you saw how all this diminished and some of this up here is well diminished too. So that's a good report for tonight, and I think that's going to keep our quake activity down in minimal magnitudes. And even though there's winds coming through that area, and that this wind configuration still remains, hopefully that'll have shifted some of this and maybe change this weather pattern configuration, eliminating these Santa Ana winds here pretty soon. Okay. That's all we can kind of pray for is a good shift like that. A good earthquake on one part of the planet can shift weather patterns and change fire conditions now. How about that? Weather patterns can change fire conditions, and if earthquakes can change weather patterns, well, an earthquake on one side of the world could affect fire conditions. Pretty weird, huh? And any activity off the sun, which would then be absorbed by the planet, would change any kind of weather patterns as well, or fire conditions as well. So a lot of factors go into this. And there's your conveyor belts right now. We still have this rotation where it's going down the coast. That's not good. We'd rather see a rotation going this way, pulling air from the shore on, or from the water onshore, instead of the opposite, going from land offshore. Okay, so that's the pattern we want to see a change up in. But You can see your hot, cold plumes, how they correlate with your weather patterns. And when we come over here, here's this spot at Japan. Now, right there, whoops, take the wind off there, please, is where we saw our big quake earlier in the year, and now just a couple of days or yesterday, another big quake right there. And this is the heat in that area the day before. This was yesterday on the 13th, right? Yeah, 13th. So you could see that there was pressure in the area, hot water vents. There was some vent on the ocean floor spewing water. And it's not enough. There's having earthquake activity right there. Okay, we look at Taiwan here as well. You can see that they've had this heat plume here coming off the northern part, and that's kept quake activity at the fulcrum point down. We even have another vent opened up over here. Come on down to Java. Look at Java getting cold water inundation here going along there. That's good. Okay, pressure was kind of relieved in this area. Meanwhile, down here at Australia, you see all this hot water creating lots of thunderstorms and really high cloud tops, and that's why they're getting hail over there. Let's do this. Let's put on the winds for some of these really quick. Hot air rising, cold air rushing in to replace it. Then that hot air, once it gets way up high, it cools off and drops. So it rises over hot air and then descends over the cool air, cools off, comes back around and rises again over the hot air, back down to the cool air. Okay, there's some of your orientations going on out there, controlling your weather patterns. And this activity is so strong and so powerful that it doesn't matter your jet stream. The weather patterns follow this instead. All right. Let's see. We did some quake activity. Just kind of doing a different report tonight. Let's just come over here really quick, do the volcanoes. 36 erupting, 39 in warning. That is still it's 75 now. So 7 years ago, when all this started happening to me, if I had told you then we'd have 75 volcanoes 7 years later, you would have laughed and said, Brian, you're crazy. Well, here we are, 7 years later, 75 volcanoes, and I am still crazy about you. Let's get into this. Something twisted there. Let me just... All right, get through these pictures. Here's Semeru volcano still going off. We've had some big blasts, some tall blasts lately, and some pretty sizable earthquakes, so a lot of pressure being relieved that way. Suno, Sejima, Canalone, 9,000 feet. That's pretty high for that new one. Ibu, all right, IB with you at 18,000 feet. This is amazing. This actually had lightning in this image here. We'll get to it in a minute. 18,000 feet. That's the highest I've ever seen out of Ibu. IB with you at 18,000 feet. Semeru, 15,000. That's its maximum. I think we saw 16 the other day out of this, but it's pushing its maximum height. White Island is increasing too. Santa Guido, 14,000. Fuego, 15,000. Songay, 20,000. Reventador, 14,500. Wait a second. That was just in the last few minutes. Here's January 14th, which, well, was today and is now yesterday because, well, time flies at this channel. There's your map of insanity. We got a new one over here, Bartabunga, going off up here in, we got Svarinsky and now a second volcano opening up, Bartabunga here at Iceland. And we had that 5.0 magnitude earthquake up there, 5+. Meanwhile, Stromboli, Etna, all this activity is just insanity. Don't let this map desensitize you. It can. You just think, oh, that's normal. We see that every night. Map of today's active volcanoes. Vanuatu National Park somewhere. Here's Abaco up there by the Kamchatka. Suanosigina. Come on. There's Ebu. All right, here we go. This is the image from Ebu. I be with you with some lightning at 18,000 feet. Well, yeah, that's a pretty violent eruption. Now, like I said, the sun sends any kind of energy our way. We absorb it down to the core. The core heats up. The shell heats up. That magma heats up. Magma expands, pushes on the underside of the crust, and is looking for any weak spot. The easiest path the path of least resistance. Well, here you got an already open volcano, and pa-chow. So here we are together at 18,000 feet, lightning in the clouds, baby. Luatolo. There's two. White Island. Okay, big old plume of SO2 and ash coming out of there. There's more particulates. Okay, more SO4 also, you know. That's what it looks like from space. This is Erda Ale in Africa. Okay, Bardabunga, Central Iceland. Here we go. A strong earthquake swarm has started under the volcano this morning at 6 a.m. local time. More than 100 quakes with magnitudes up to 5.0 have been recorded since. The strongest quake was a 5.0 shock at 8.05 at local time. The quakes are clustered under the northern part of the large complementary ice-covered Bardabunga caldera and located at depths spanning between 10 kilometers, that's where we see our quakes, and the surface. This is the strongest seismic activity of the volcano since the preceding seismic activity prior to its massive eruption in 2014-15. The activity closely resembles a pattern of new magma intrusion, which is likely the cause. New magma intrusion is likely the cause? I agree. Ebaco, 9,000 feet. Suanosigima, 9,000. Sakurajima, my bad. Suanosigima, 5,000. Canalone, 9,000. Manam, 7. Here's Ebu. Last seen with lightning. Luatolo. We saw those. Semaru, 15,000. White Island. Weak to moderate stream and gas plume containing ash is currently being emitted. Wonderful. Popocatépetl, nothing there. Santa Guido, 14,000. Fuego, 15,000. Nevada del Ruiz, 19,000. Songay, sporadic emissions. Same with Reventador. Erda Ale, I showed you on the satellite there. Don't hit a squirrel with one of these cars. It might total the car. Okay. I think that might be it. Now we're going to come back over here. Actually, where's this list? I want that. Is it the end of this one? Actually, we'll use the map. Okay, so here we have all this activity. This is above the water. This is on land. And then we have all this activity below the water. Now, you got to remember the surface of the crust is underwater too, all right? It just has water sitting on top of it. So we got vents on the ocean floor as well as vents above the ocean, okay? Lots of volcanic activity going on because of the sun, the earth, absorbing energy from the sun. The sun's kicking up all this stuff because of our objects, okay? All this stuff plays havoc on the weather. We'll go take a little peek at our tidbits. You guys want a tidbit with me? Put out your hand. Everybody get your little tidbit. Everybody, you guys, you want to see some models? Sorry, but they're forecast models. All right. You like my stupid little shtick. All right, thank you. Current conditions, nighttime of the 14th, morning of the 15th. Now, remember, we have this pocket of warm water down here, so we're constantly having a cloud, a plume of moist, warm air generated down in that region. So morning of the 15th, noon, convection, nighttime. 16, noon, convection, nighttime. 17, noon, convection, nighttime. 18, ooh, they kiss. They make a little QLCS. Ooh, that drives south through Georgia. Still showing that around noontime the 18th. That's still a little ways out there. But it's still showing that around the 18th. The convection, nighttime moving offshore. Morning of the 19th, noon, convection, nighttime. See this cold air mass dropping all the way down in here again. There's Harley. Good to see you, bud. Morning of the 20th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 30th, or 21st, sorry. Very cold temperatures all the way down into Texas. You see this ice storm in the middle, and you're seeing, the moist, warm air plume right here getting pulled into it. So that's causing icing down in Texas. All right. Now this keeps showing up for a while here, so we might have to watch these. We get to this configuration here. It's on, because there's icing by the nighttime of the 20th, morning of the 21st, noon, convection. Look at the icing going from Texas through Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, nighttime of the 21st. Oh, okay. I want you to imagine going to the beach at Texas and at Florida, and there's ice on the beach. Let me see if I can get this just one click closer to you guys. I'm not making this up. This is their forecast model right there. Icing event, even out into the water a little bit. But that has the potential of messing things up for a lot of people in 4 different states. Texas, Louisiana, 5. Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. 6, make it South Carolina. There's a little bit in the tinge right there. That is gnarly. Everybody pray for those people in that area. And if you're in that area, you better get ready. You might want to just take some precautions and keep a close eye. We'll monitor this together, whatever. Keep a close eye on your weather as we approach that time frame. That's the morning of the 22nd, noon. Convection, let's make it 7 states with Tennessee. No, I mean, sorry, North Carolina. Now Tennessee. 8 states. There's that nighttime of the 22nd, morning of the 23rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Yeah, the rest of this is way out there, so bear with me. Can we just do this? Zip. There we go. My concerns are this little event right here. This big cold air mass that's up here in Canada, drawing that moisture up in there. If we get a configuration similar to that, we could possibly see them kiss like this. All right, and they're not showing icing here, but when you get cold air and moist air like this colliding, you're going to get a boundary where that warm, moist air is above the colder air below, and rain will fall through that cold air and ice. So this could be another icing event in here. I pray I'm wrong. I hope it doesn't happen, but when we see a configuration similar to this, okay, this is at the 14th or the 18th, which is 4 days out. I don't trust anything that's any more than 3 days out. All right, so this is still outside that trust zone there, but it keeps showing up. So the morning hours when air is cold, that's when you might see some convection and some serious thunderstorms possibly pop up in that region. The morning times of January 28th, that could catch people off guard when they're sleeping if you get a little quasi-linear storm band right there, and that goes through northern Alabama into northern Georgia. and then swoops down across. It pushes this way instead of going northeast like most severe weather patterns do. This one pushes this way. So everybody in Georgia, watch out at noon on the 18th. Okay, it's 4 days away. We're going to continue to watch that. It pushes even into Florida. Okay, so that'll be the first event to kind of monitor and watch, okay? And that'll be an indicator too. If we see this form, we're going to get this big, deep trough. And then it's on. Then this event happens. Okay, and you can see how quickly this event dovetails off the end of this. So we get that event right there on the East Coast. It's going to let that cold air drop all the way down there. It's going to collide with that moist plume that's generated here. Bam. Ice, ice, baby. Even on the beaches. Ice, ice, baby. Okay, crazy, crazy. We have all kinds of stuff generating weird weather, okay? So activity right now, little current, come back over here, just the latest little quake here, 1.9. This is just outside that structure because the structure kind of links up with the plate boundary. You can see the mountains on the other side, but you can see the actual fault goes right through it, right there, dividing it. So it comes in, hits that fault, and follows it around. Just on the outside of it, though. And that's good that we saw a reduction in heat and pressure in that area. Now, that was as of yesterday's map. So hopefully it continues to lessen in that area. And you saw that there were fluctuations, up and down in the ebb and flow. Just kind of looking at these volcanoes. Mount St. Helens, earthquake activity on the flank of volcanoes, indication of pressure down below there. Okay, so we've seen a good flurry of magnitude 5s in the last few days, plus this almost magnitude 7 by Japan. We've seen a lot of volcanic blasts, new ones opening up, plate boundaries relieving pressure at the surface. Okay, so that's good. The Earth has this nice little perforation system going on. When pressure builds, it's got all these different vents and little avenues to vent pressure in certain regions. So everybody pay attention to Iceland for a little bit there. On that volcano report, they did not talk about, oh, yeah, we read about Iceland. Ice, ice, baby. That storm, very, very, very dangerous. A lot of big cities in that region, a lot of population in that region, and a lot of those people are not used to cold weather. They don't have heating and insulation because it's hot in that region. That could be a big mess right there. All right, so you still have what, 18th? That'd be 4 days to prepare. If you're in that region, I would just kind of prepare because this keeps showing up since last week. It's been showing the same similar conditions and actually worsening in the intensity of how far south it's going here with our the closer we get. Where was the one that was on the beaches right there? One more time, zooming in there. And that would be, wait, let me just see the time on that. My bad. This is the morning of the 22nd. So everybody in that region, take heed. You'll probably know beforehand that it's coming because there'll be the ice storm here in Texas first. You see that unfolding. Everybody in this region, get ready. And I'm telling you, this is going to knock out power too because ice on power lines pulls them down. Any big trees would fall on houses, possibly catching people off guard in the middle of the night when they're sleeping. Okay, so this has the potential to be a very dangerous storm. And don't be deceived. There's severe weather out here in the water too. Any kind of little shift in positioning here, you can see that severe weather on land. Let's pray that doesn't happen. But this deep dive of cold air all the way down to here, causing icing along the beaches of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. Yeah, strange days indeed. Image is worth 1,000 words. I'm just going to let that sit there for a second. Are we doing a spiritual report for that one? Okay. Yes, we are. Cool. I did not prepare for a show tonight. I just wanted to touch base with the heat plume over here in LA Basin receding a little bit. That's some good news for people in the region because I know everybody's stressed. I know they're stressed. So that's good. Let's do a little bit of spiritual report now because all that stuff can be a little unnerving and disturbing. And even though we had a little bit of good news there, the whole comprehension of it can be a little unnerving. So it's important that we take a little break and understand why all this is happening. Did our astrophysics, geophysics, let's do what people would call metaphysics, but it's actually how you work and how you were designed. Okay, April 17th of 2020. Easter, I captured this in the clouds. Okay. And it was quite an event. We kept going and going and going. I rotated these so you can see them a little bit better. And there's activity on the other side of this mountain that I started taking pictures of. Just kind of flicking through this real quick so you can all see that these are authentic images, okay? That's what's trippy is when you actually wrap your mind around the fact that these are real. This is not AI, computer generated, or anything like that. That's when it really kind of sinks in how vital and important these images are. Okay. So we'll pull up that one and we'll get rid of this. And we'll get this one going here. I've had this paranormal activity happening to me ever since the Revelation 12 sign. Well, right before it and right after. Well, ever since then. Okay. And documented, caught a lot of it on video, a lot of camera. So I could bring you the gift that I was shown and blessed with. I could share the gift with you. We got to do this one every once in a while. The wedding ring. You guys want to see this one really quick? I've done that one in a while. So this one I'm super excited to show you guys, and it's quite incredible. This is an arm coming out of the sky with the hand right here and the finger sticking out with a ring on it. And all little entities oohing and awing over it too. It's funny. This cloud right here is God's arm reaching down. Here's his hand. He's got his hand clenched and he's sticking out his finger with a ring on it. It's a wedding ring. And these little things right here are mouths of creatures that are oohing and awing over it. So I'm going to start zooming in on the ring here, and you'll see little creatures, different faces, oohing and awing over it. And let's pull it up a little bit. Here's his finger sticking out. Here's the ring going around this square thing. Let's go in tighter. Okay, here we go. So here's the finger. There's the ring going around it. Here's the base. And there is the rock. That's a big rock. Look how big that rock is on that ring on his finger. That's the wedding ring, you guys. Looks like as we pull back, everybody's looking at it going, ooh. Try to pull back. Reminds me of like the candy entity over here. The blow pop ring that was like the candy ring that was this huge out of proportion sized gem for, the size of your hand. Anyways, there's that one. I forgot. I need to show you that one every once in a while. All kinds of cool little stuff. These are old videos back when I had to do video before I could live stream. And where are we going? Oh, yeah, we're going down to the heart. This one, Jesus in the cloud, right there.
One platform.
Oh, thank you, one platform. Can we skip this, please? All right. Go theater mode with that one. There we go. So, telling y'all, these faces been following me in the clouds. Everything follows me. UFOs, giant faces in the clouds, all kinds of... Everybody watching, following, and studying my every move. It's pretty weird. Okay, so there's that one. And now let's pull up one more to read to. Where'd that one go? Probably another ad, so hang on. Oh, maybe not. And then we have this event where an object showed up out by the moon, and a gentleman recorded it one night and went and bought a better camera because he couldn't believe what he was seeing. So he went and got a better camera and captured even better footage of what appears to be my face out there by the moon. Okay, and it's because I got this perspective from a higher vantage point. Okay, and what's interesting, what's cool about this is the time that this was captured, the actual night and the time frame that this was captured by somebody, this gentleman who videoed it, was the same time we're doing the spiritual report. And I turn on the light like this, and the light shines half on my face, just like that. And it was at this very time when we were doing this that was captured. So, okay, let's go over to here first. Get started there. It's nice and pretty like for you guys. Sorry, I'm a ADD a little bit about this stuff. OCD, sorry. All right. So you're looking at that and you're on your path, right? And you are on the right path. So listen more to me and less to your doubts. Listen more to me and less to your doubts. I am leading you along the way I designed just for you. Therefore, it is a lonely way, humanly speaking, but I go before you as well as alongside you, so you are never alone. Do not expect anyone to understand fully my ways with you any more than you can comprehend my dealings with others. I am revealing to you the path of life day by day, moment by moment. Like I said to my disciple Peter, so I repeat to you, follow me, study me, watch me. And, whoa, yep, that was the next. Yep, because we're going that direction. So, stop judging and evaluating yourself because this is not your role. And above all, stop comparing yourself with others. This produces feelings of pride or inferiority, and sometimes a mixture of both. I lead each of my children along a path that is uniquely tailored for him or her. So comparing not only is wrong, it's also meaningless. It's meaningless. Quit comparing. It's meaningless. Don't look for affirmation in the wrong places, which is your own evaluations or those of other people. Don't look for affirmation from other people, or look for their evaluations. The only source of real affirmation is my unconditional love. Right there. Whoops, right there. heart right there. Emanate that love right there. Don't look for affirmation in the wrong places, which would be your own evaluations or the evaluations of other people. The only real source of affirmation is my unconditional love. Many believers perceive me as an unpleasable judge, angrily searching out their faults and failures. But nothing could be farther from the truth. I died for your sins so that I might clothe you in my garments of salvation. And this is how I see you, radiant in the robe of my righteousness. So when I discipline you, it is never in anger or disgust. It is to prepare you for face to face fellowship with me throughout all eternity. So immerse yourself in my loving presence. Be receptive to my affirmation, which flows continually from the throne of grace. So you got that affirmation. It flows continually from the throne of grace, all in my loving presence. I see the waves coming off, not because of the wavy lines, but actually in the clouds there. Okay. Keep your eyes on me because waves of adversity are washing over you and you feel tempted to give up. Now, as your circumstances consume more and more of your attention, you are losing sight of me. Yet I am always with you, holding you by your right hand. I am fully aware of your situation, and I will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able to bear. Your gravest danger is worrying about tomorrow. Your gravest danger is worrying about tomorrow. If you try to carry tomorrow's burdens today, you will stagger under the load and eventually fall flat. You must discipline yourself to live within the boundaries of today, in the present moment. It is in the present moment that I walk close to you, helping you carry your burdens. Keep your focus on my presence in the present, like right now. Because I am leading you step by step through your life. Hold my dependence, letting me guide you through each day. Your future looks uncertain and feels flimsy and even precarious, and that's how it should be. What? That doesn't sound right, but listen. You're certain your future looks uncertain and feels flimsy and precarious. And that's how it should be. Secret things belong to the Lord, and future things are secret things. So when you try to figure out the future, you are grasping into things that are mine. This, like all forms of worry, is an act of rebellion, doubting my promises to care for you. So, whenever you find yourself worrying about the future, repent and return to me. It's really simple. When you find yourself getting caught up in that, repent. Just return to me really quick. Step aside, say a few prayers, regain your composure, get caught up with me for a few minutes. It helps you to remind your perspective. I will show you the next step forward, and then the one after that, and the one after that. So relax and enjoy the journey in my presence, trusting me to open up the way before you as you go. Yep, I think that was it for tonight. In the moment, step by step. Don't quit worrying about tomorrow. Just just today's stuff, one day at a time, one moment at a time if you have to, okay? That's how this works. Your gravest danger is worrying about tomorrow. Things could change. You never know. There could be an earthquake that opens up another vent, and then all of a sudden the pressure is reduced in that region, and the fire, threat diminishes. You never know what the next day can handle or will have. So, and while you're doing that, we have a tendency to judge and evaluate our performance. So stop judging and evaluating yourself. Okay, just it's like the obstacle course. You get up, brush off the dirt, and keep going. Because you are that obstacle course. If you're going through that obstacle course right now, you're on the right path. That's the path. It's not, you're overcoming these obstacles. If there weren't any obstacles in your path, there'd be nothing to overcome, and you'd be kind of on the wrong path. If you weren't overcoming a bunch of things, that would be the wrong path. But there's obstacles on your path and you're overcoming those. So you are on the right path. And the more you listen to me and the less you doubt, the more you find the confidence, the courage, all kinds of healing properties, everything that comes with this. Peace that transcends your circumstances. I'm slowly transforming you on the inside. If it weren't for these wonderful, beautiful miracles here, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have your attention as much, would I? Okay. And you wouldn't have such a solid foundation. Every time I show these pictures, this is your foundation. This is your rock. These images right here cost me dearly. Okay, it was very painful to take these pictures. So that's why I keep bringing them to you. This is a 2,000-year-old prophecy that came true on Easter. That should blow everybody out of the water. We had the 2,000-year-old prophecy of the star alignment happen. All these things that haven't happened in 2,000 years, all of a sudden happening at this time frame. Well, you all understand the times we're in. It's pretty easy to see if you have eyes to see. And if you have eyes to see, that usually means that you have ears to hear as well. So you are looking at my face coming in the clouds with power and great glory. Okay, this is me in the clouds. You are caught up with this. This is fascinating, intriguing, like a good book or a good YouTube live stream. You get caught up in it. It takes you away from all your problems for a while. It soothes you. It gives you hope and courage to face the next day and to face your circumstances. You are caught up with me in the clouds. We meet in the air of cyberspace here, going live on YouTube, where I created a place here that where I am, you may be also. You can come over here and get caught up with me in the clouds anytime you want. The word rapture is not in the Bible, but the catching away, being caught up is happening at any moment. Everybody's like, the rapture's happening, and it's going to happen at any moment. Well, kind of true. That moment is the moment you decide to believe me and trust me. That's the moment you're caught up with me in the clouds. Okay? That's the real rapture. Okay? You're not turned into a little dot and disappear into the air, and then all the planes crash and all the cars crash. That's Hollywood's idea. This is what really happened. And I gave you a testimony the other night of what really happened to me. These are all events that still plague me to this day because of who I am. Okay? And that makes you very special. When you see me coming in the clouds and you're caught up with me in the clouds here, we met in the air, you comprehend that I made a place here at YouTube that where I am, you may be. If you grasp all those concepts, then you are truly a child of God. My spirit has sparked something in you, that making you a child of God. It's the real deal. How bad do you want it? You are royalty beyond these clowns in Britain or kings of countries. You guys are royalty. And you're doing it too. A lot of you are seeing the success throughout your day. You're practicing, salvaging your day. You're praying, taking a moment to step aside when circumstances get a little warm. Even unplugging from the news sometimes, watching the same story over and over, seeing the devastation over and over can scar your brain. You want to fill your mind with good things, with pure things, with things that are lovely and pure and true. This is lovely, pure, true, true, true. That's the best part is it's true. And you guys get to partake in it. That's the blessing. And I'm so thankful that a bunch of you have found all the gifts that come with this. It doesn't just fall into your lap. You have to practice these disciplines. When you practice a discipline, by default, that makes you a disciple. Practicing disciplines makes a disciple. So if you're finding success with these in your life, just salvaging your day over and over again and chalking them each one up as a notch in your belt. Hey, I can overcome the world. You're overcoming the circumstances of the world every time you rebound during your day. Okay, and you get a little crown. You get another crown here for rebounding, and you go from glory to glory to glory while in your tribulation. You guys are kicking ass and having results, and that's what brings me joy. That's the joy of the Lord, is when you grasp these concepts and you apply them, that's when the miracle happens. So if it hasn't happened yet, don't leave until the miracle happens. Don't give up yet. Try to practice these in your daily routine, and you will find a way of life that is it's it's hard to describe. It's really unexplainable, but it's very miraculous, and you have that inner peace and inner courage. It gives you strength and hope that you then it shines off your face like this in the spiritual realm. Come here, can we have this image back? When you got that courage, strength, and hope inside you, your face starts to glow like this in the spiritual world, and your light is shining into other people's lives. And just keep going, you guys. You're having the success. You're seeing the results, and that's what brings me joy. Okay, and being able to bring you this. This is a gift that I give freely to you guys, and you guys can give it too. You could take this video or some of these images or whatever and give them to your family and friends too if they're having trouble. And if they don't like the clouds, well, tell them the art of salvaging a day, and then maybe they will find success that way. There are avenues that you can take to find results. Okay? I'm just thankful for your guys' time, that you took a moment of your time to be here and be part of this family. See, for 7 years, I couldn't get anybody's time or trust or attention. Just 5 minutes. Really, 5 minutes out of 7 years, I can't get that much time. But finally, I'm getting people's time and attention, and it only blesses you. It's not like, hey, look at me, I'm all this, I'm all that. No, the time you take gets repaid. It blesses you doubly in return. That tenfold, really. Keep going. You guys are doing it, and we're just being patient and persistent. We bring salvation that Jesus brings into other people's lives so they might find those tools to cope with their situations as well. Okay? You guys are truly disciples. You really are. This go around, you guys are. And that's quite a family I got, and I'm just thankful. I love you all. I miss you all. I got flight school tomorrow, and maybe we'll take some video, and I'll post some video of what we do. All right, until tomorrow, I love you all. and I will be back. I'm a man of my word. I'll be back. Love you all. Bye.